It's warm outside today. Hello, everybody. And since it's warm outside today, the halter tops are back. I'm so excited for warm weather. I'm so excited for summer clothes. I love my winter. Don't get me wrong, I love my warm, comfortable clothes, but I'm super excited for summer to come back. Super excited for the warm weather. I wish I would have known how warm it was outside. I would have gone and worked out outside today because I didn't look at the weather until after I had done my workout. And I was like, man, I could have took my dog on a walk today. We could have went on a walk early because I was feeling getting up and getting moving early. So that was something I was just like, well, we'll try again tomorrow. I don't know what the weather's going to look like tomorrow, but hopefully it's looking around the same, because if it is, we're going to be on that. But, we're gonna. I hope that you're having a great day since it's warm. But we're gonna go ahead and get started today, and spinning off of our other parts of this series, we're going into our Purge the Poison, and we're going into our ingredients. This is to get you acclimated with the what we're doing to ourselves and why we need to switch, because in general, in overall society, we don't understand what we're doing to ourselves. And since we don't understand what we're doing to ourselves, we don't think about why we need to change. We don't even let the thought come to us of why we need to change, because when we see the actions and we see the consequences that come from our actions, then we just assume that, it's just how life is. It's just how society is. And everybody's dealing with the same thing, and everybody's going to deal with the same thing. And that's just not true. That's not what you have to deal with. It's your actions that put you in the state to have to deal with these things. It puts you in the space to have to keep going to the doctor, taking prescriptions, being sick all the time, being fatigued, not having any energy, feeling like you're just overall unhealthy, and not knowing how to take care of your body, not knowing what to do to yourself to make yourself feel better, to do for yourself to make yourself feel better. And so this point of this Purging the Poison series is to understand that we are literally poisoning ourselves. And through us poisoning ourselves, we're making ourselves ill. We're making ourselves sick. We're literally making ourselves a toxic human being, toxic to ourselves by our actions, our habits, and our lifestyle. And so that leads us to having diseases. That leads us to having illnesses. That leads us to not being able to be energetically flowing through life. And if we're not energetically flowing through our life, if we're not having a vibrant life, it's because of our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is not vibrant. Our lifestyle is not energetic. Our lifestyle is not supporting our body and being energetic. And since we're not supporting ourselves, this is leading us to be fatigued, mentally fogged, leading us to be uncomfortable in the skin that we're in, literally, leading us to be mentally unstable. And I was watching an amazing video earlier that was talking about the fact that if you're not supporting your gut, then you're literally supporting your mind and being unstable. And it's completely true. The foods that you are consuming and you're intaking, if you are not putting in good food and your body is not able to digest, your body is completely imbalanced, from your gut biome to your digestive tract to you going to the bathroom irregularly, you not having enough nutrition in your diet. So not only are you imbalanced nutrients wise, but your body is not cycling the way that it should, because your organs cannot function the way they should. Your brain is not functioning the way it should. You are literally supporting yourself and being unstable. You are poisoning yourself every single day with your habits and your actions and your lifestyle. And so getting out of the space of just conforming and understanding that, okay, I can consume this in moderation. Society has told me I can do this. The FDA said I can do this. The CDC is okaying this. And realize that they're not telling you how to support your gut. They're giving you a supplement, a mask. They're giving you different prescriptions to mask the problem. They're not showing you and giving you the tools and the resources. They're not allowing you to have fresh fruits and fresh vegetables for you to be able to support your gut biome. They're giving you all of these rules and regulations that are GRAS, generally recognized as safe. That is the term, GRAS, that they allow to be in our food. These things that they know that will upset your gut biome, they know will hurt your body, will know that your organs cannot be supported, and they store in your fat cells. But they get away with it by making a law called generally recognized as safe. And so when they put it in that category, they say, oh, just consume it in moderation. It's okay. Just consume it in moderation. It won't kill you as long as you do it in moderation. Not realizing that your moderation of you eating this all of your life is storing up. You never cleanse, you never detox, you never release these things, you never fast. And so you never understand how to support your body, and your body is constantly in a fight or flight state. Your body is constantly trying to figure out where to put all of these grass ingredients. And so when it's trying to get rid of all this grass ingredients, then it's like, okay, well, I'll store it for later, because maybe one day we'll figure something out that we need to do with it. And also, you're not nutrient deficient, so it's like, well, I don't have enough nutrients, so at least if I store this in my fat cells, I'll have something to hold on to and something to feed off of. But your body doesn't know how to use it as a energy source, so all it does is just store in your fat cells and stay there. That's the same thing with processed white sugar and like brown sugar. Your body does not understand or recognize that sugar because it's not a natural sugar. It's not something that is naturally made by your body. It does not spike your glucose levels in a natural state. It does not spike your insulin in a natural state. So that's the reason why you develop insulin resistance. That's the reason why you sit there and you get told, you know, you're insulin resistant, your glucose levels are too high, and you're not understanding because you eat in moderation, not realizing that the sugar is stored in your fat cells. The sugar is storing there in order for it to not go to your vital organs, because if it stores on your vital organs, that's how you develop a fatty liver. Like, that's how you develop heart disease, all of these things. Because when it stores to all of the excess parts of your body, like your arms, your legs, your stomach, your lower belly especially, and like your face area, those aren't really vital organs. Now your face obviously has your brain, but it stores, you know, in your cheek and in your chin. And that's how it starts. It gets stored here because we usually gain weight in our face, our arms, our like lower stomach and legs, especially for women, lower stomach and legs. And so it starts to store around the areas that don't really have vital organs. But once it has nowhere else to go, it has to start storing around your vital organs. And so you develop all of these random symptoms and illnesses and diseases, and they're not so random because you're not realizing that you've literally been ingesting poisonous ingredients all of your life. And so getting out of the space of thinking that society is okay consuming these things in moderation, and get into the space that, how can I support my body so that I'm not consuming poisons, because these are poisons. Think of the same way where you turn the bleach bottle around and it tells you cannot ingest it. Caution, poison. Think about that when you turn the box around and you see a long list of ingredients, a book of ingredients, and you see all of these things that you don't understand what they are, and they're preservatives, they're flavor agents, all of these things that you do not need, and these companies know how to use to keep the food lasting longer, tasting the way that they need to taste, to consume, to stimulate your brain, to stimulate the parts of your brain that doesn't tell you you're full, doesn't tell you that this is harming you, and it stimulates your dopamine to keep telling you this is more, like the reward system in your brain. Give me more, give me more. And not understanding that like all of these things on top of that are harming you, storing inside of you, and keeping you ill. And even if you look the best that you do because you consume in moderation, you work out, you do all these other things, it's going to catch up. And you're going to be trying to play catch up with the ingredients that you've been eating all of your life. And you shouldn't be playing catch up. You shouldn't be managing an issue. You shouldn't be managing an illness. You should not be managing a disease. We need to fight it. We need to first purge poison from our life and fight the illness and disease. And how we fight the illness and disease is to understand effectively cleansing and detoxing. And you already know that I have an amazing detox bundle that will support you in a full body cleanse and detox, showing you the step-by-step that you need for your body to be able to fight these things that you've been doing to your body all of your life. Because truly, you have to understand, you've never cleansed, you never detoxed correctly, you've never purged any poison from your life. So what is the moderation coming in? Like, where's the moderation coming in? You eating a salad every now and then and deciding that you're going on a diet, when diet literally is diet. Like, look at the root of the words, like break them down. Diet. Who is the it? Who is dying? Like, you have to think about these things. And so the same thing about like diet culture. Everybody does diet culture, but nobody really manages or maintains a diet, if that makes sense. You always do it for a week or two, you do it for months, you do it for however long, you might even do it for a whole year. After you get off, what happens? You gain all the weight back, you might even gain more weight back, you feel terrible, you honestly start to look terrible if you were looking good before, because some people go through the thing and they don't even look good while they're doing it. And so you're literally maintaining and managing still the poisons in your life, because you're not supporting your body through doing a diet. You're not supporting your body in getting to a stable, balanced place. The imbalance of you going back and forth yo-yo dieting is literally making your body go, well, this isn't going to last long anyway. I haven't released anything. You're still consuming a bunch of crap regardless of what you diet with. And you're not understanding that it is built up inside of you, because there's a number of different diets. There's like, from what I can list off the top of my head, paleo, there's like Weight Watchers, all of these other things, and they do their low calorie, no sugar. Maybe you do a whole 30 of just like the meats, no bread, no sugar, like all the other stuff. Not realizing that like each one of these diets have something in it that is poisoning you if you really look into it, because all of these like low calorie, no sugar diets and all these other things, what is the sugar replacement if you're giving me something sweet and you're not getting it from a natural source? So let's dive into one of those. One of the big things that we're going to that is like a major flavor agent, because we were going to go into preservatives, but I want to touch on this one because this is a major flavor agent that people do not realize that is so harmful, is aspartame, because it's been all over like TikTok. I think they even like made their way to like Facebook and Instagram, that these dietitians and these people who are paid by the other people that are making us sick got on here, got a little, commission stipend or whatever to push out the agenda that aspartame is not dangerous. But aspartame, one, has been linked to cancer, and two, is a man-made sugar. It's not a natural sugar. And this man-made sugar is literally 200 times sweeter than regular sugar. And they put basically the same amount of sugar that they do with the regular processed white sugar and brown sugar is they do the aspartame. And they put it in things like diet drinks. They put it in your low calorie frozen desserts, your low calorie desserts, all of those zero sugar desserts that they advertise that as. And they put it in some regular soft drinks as well. And they use it also to sweeten foods. And understanding that aspartame is not good for you. If it's been linked to causing cancer, 200 times sweeter than regular sugar, you might as well just consume the regular sugar. Like, that sugar has also been linked to cancer, so why is that an alternative? And it's not sweeter than the 200 times as the aspartame, so at least you're not sitting there putting yourself in complete insulin resistance as soon as you consume whatever you're consuming that has it in there. And you're also not, they're both man-made, so I was going to say that backwards, but at least you're not unawarely poisoning yourself, because we all know sugar is not good and outside of moderation, as people say. But when you think and you look at aspartame, and it's, praised by diet culture, it's praised by the society, saying like, yeah, this is a good alternative, you should be doing this, you should be consuming this, and not understanding that it's still harming you because it's so highly praised, then you think that it's okay to go get your Diet Coke. You think it's okay that they have it in Sprite Diet Cokes, and have it with the high fructose corn syrup and all this other stuff, or as a replacement of high fructose corn syrup. Fructose corn syrup, I don't know what I was saying, it's so weird. But, and you look at it and you're like, well, it has aspartame in it. Aspartame is good for you. Not realizing that you have literally been deceived. You've been fooled. And so since you've been fooled and deceived, and you're realizing, or you're not realizing, and you're believing the facade, you're sitting here consuming this as often or even more than you would the regular sugar, the brown sugar, the regular processed sugar. And not realizing you're putting yourself in an inflammation state, you're causing yourself to be toxic on the inside, and you're feeding cancer cells, because that's what sugar does. Anything that's toxic to the body, that stores inside of your body, that cannot be released on its own because your body does not recognize it, it does not understand what to do with it, you are feeding the cancer cells. And so looking into that and realizing that, and starting to put logic and make the connections to it, you start to realize that that's what all of these additives, all of these poisonous ingredients are doing to us, and we need to purge them from our life. And that starts with first us learning what these poisons are, what they are, what these labels are meaning to us, and what these labels should mean to us. Even the people who decide they don't want to look at the ingredients, you should be, and you should realize what they are. Even if you don't look at it and recognize it and say, oh, that's this and this, it does this and this. Realizing that it's not natural, because I can't look at it and realize what it is. It has a phosphated dioxide, all this other stuff, and it's not something that is a natural chemical that happens on earth, but rather a man-made preservative, chemical, additive, flavoring, whatever. And start to not buy it. Start to realize that it's not helping you. Start to understand that these companies do not care about you if they're putting that in your food. You need to quit buying from them, and you need to start finding alternatives. And that is the way that you support your body, is start finding alternatives. Stop buying into these companies that do not care about you. Because recently, and we're going to get into the preservatives after this, but I want to dive into this. Recently, Kellogg's has been in the media because the owner, the founder, co-owner, whatever, whoever, somebody that owns Kellogg's, it's up in the higher ups, was talking about the fact that if you're a low-income company and you cannot afford dinner, you should go out and buy their cereal. After he had already been bragging about the fact that they had raised their prices, I think like 28%, they had made a huge profit off of the years that I think since like COVID, raising their prices and like, you know, because everything's been rising and all this other stuff. And then goes and says to the low income families that this company has made a bunch of money. They're raising their prices and you should go consume their cereal, even though they've raised their prices. You should go consume their products, even though they've raised their prices, and you can't afford a real dinner. And him knowing that you're not eating real food, so going ahead and just go eat my junk food, and you're going to eat all this cereal up, and then you're going to have to go buy the expensive cereal again because you have no money to go get actual food, according to him, when in reality that's just not true. You're just being programmed to believe that it's more expensive to go get real food. And so you're sitting here eating non-nutritional food, spending all this money on some cereal that's not going to fill you or your family up, and then putting money into the pockets of these people who do not care about you, because he literally just laughed and spit in your face. Like, that's exactly what you need equated to. And people are talking about doing a boycott, but we're not realizing that, like, it's not just Kellogg's. Like, it's not just Kellogg's. All of these companies do the same thing. They might be hush-hush about it. They might not be as big bold as he was and go on, you know, TV and tell every single person that they're raising their prices, and if you're low income, you should go pay more into them. But that's what these companies are doing. They're literally putting all of these additives, preservatives, and things that you don't need in the food, and then telling you to go get it and go eat it. And then profiting off of their marketing, profiting off of you not knowing. And then the medical company is also profiting off of you not knowing, because you're sitting here sick 10, 15 years later. You're sitting here sick because prices were so high, so you thought, okay, let me just eat all this junk. And now here you are 2 years later, and you're sitting here like, why am I insulin resistant? Why do I have diabetes now? Because you literally were not doing any research. You were sitting here consuming a bunch of poisonous ingredients every single day and not realizing that these companies have fooled you, society has fooled you, the CDC, the FDA, all of them have fooled you into believing that in moderation is okay. These foods are okay. These are actual foods, and they're not food. And looking at the ingredients, spinning the box around, looking at it, you can realize that these are not foods. If it does not have a plant source, a natural source, it's not food. And so let's dive into some of the preservatives that are in these foods. And this isn't just the tip of the iceberg of some of the preservatives. I'm not even going into every single preservative that I know specifically, but we're going to go into a couple. So I want to dive in first into citric acid. So we talked about this, I think, last live, but I'm going to dive back into it again, and I'm going to touch on it. Citric acid, majority of the citric acid that is produced and mass produced, put in our products, our processed foods, our foods as a preservative, is made from black mold. They take the black mold and grow it, curate it in a lab, take and extract the pieces that they need and that don't make you sick immediately, and put it in the food as a preservative so it doesn't grow its own mold. So what do we do when we have mold in our life? If mold starts growing on your baseboards right now, if mold starts growing in your bathroom, what do? You get a treatment, you find a solution, and you get rid of the mold. You don't sit there and allow the mold to consume your bathroom, to consume your space, and to just live and thrive and grow as it pleases. You don't allow it to just sit there and multiply. And so think about it in your body. You're sitting here buying the product that has mold in it, knowing that it has a mold in it, sitting here with the product, consuming the product, and then allowing the mold to add on and build on inside of your body, and not ever releasing the product, never releasing that mold, allowing the mold to grow and to build on, to add on, and you're never figuring out the solution to get rid of it. You're never caring about the solution to remove it from your life. So now you're sitting here and you're sick. And if you have a mold allergy and you don't understand what's going on and why in the world you're sick all the time after you eat certain foods, and you don't know what citric acid is, then you're just sitting here literally poisoning yourself. Regardless if you have a mold allergy or not, you're poisoning yourself. But especially if you are allergic to mold and have an immediate reaction to mold, because that's what people don't understand. The people that are like, well, I'm not allergic to mold. Like, mold is still dangerous. Mold is not supposed to be inhaled, ingested, nothing. And we know this because when you have mold inside of your walls and things like that, it's a hazard. You literally will develop a illness, a disease, a sickness, and you can unalive from it. So why would you sit there and allow mold to be inside of your body, knowing that it's slowly unaliving you, knowing that it's building up inside of your body? It's toxic to your body. And regardless of what they extract to not make you sick immediately, it's still a product of mold. It's preserving the food. It's preserving inside of your body. Like, it's literally a preservative so it can stay fresh. So how do you think your body is able to handle that, dispel it, remove it from your body if it's designed to stay and preserve? So get out of the space of thinking that these things are safe. Start to make changes. Get rid of them from your life. Purge them from your life because these are poisonous. Citric acid is poisonous. And not every single company uses the citric acid from mold, but you're already not doing enough just to spin the box around and look at the ingredients. So I highly doubt you're going to sit there and you're going to email these companies and ask them what kind of citric acid they use, and to follow up to make sure that they're actually telling you the truth. Because I know me personally, I don't eat a bunch of junk. So when I find something that I like and I see that has citric acid in it, it's no problem for me to ask them to send them a quick email. Because I did this with the Siete brand. They have an amazing brand. They are a family-owned company. Hopefully they stay that way. I truly hope so. And I emailed them and got a quick response. And I did this during the holiday season. And they told me that they get their citric acid from natural sources. And they told me what sources they get it from. If the company cannot tell you where they get it from, if they cannot give you a test to show you where their citric acid has been tested and proven that it's not a dangerous type of citric acid, then you don't need to be eating their company. If they don't respond to you at all, if they don't respond to you with respect, you don't need to be eating from them at all. And so moving on to the next preservative that we have on the list for today is BHA and BHT, because these both are basically the same thing. They're both a dangerous preservative, and you can find them in things like margarine. You can find them in your chewing gum. You can find it in yeast, frozen foods. You find it in your cereal products. You find it in your snacks. You find it in processed and dried meat. And I want to touch on the snack situation because a lot of snacks that have BHT and BHA in them are bioengineered products. And you can look on the labels and they have to have it on there now. And it's very slick. It's very, very discreet. You have to literally sit there and read it. They'll have it in the most random part in the in paragraph form of blah blah blah. I'll be talking about the company and all that stuff, and then they'll say bioengineered products, and you won't even realize it because majority of people don't know what a bioengineered product is, first of all, and they don't even know to look for it. And so a bioengineered product is something that is literally made in a lab. It's curated in a lab. So whatever product that they use. So if they're using corn in their product, if they're using, wheat or whatever else, they're telling you that the natural source that they have was curated in a lab, and they use those GMO crops, basically the same thing, a GMO crop, and they put it inside of your food, and they've labeled it as bioengineered products. And these are not safe. All of those are toxic to the body. They disrupt your body, and they're not safe for you. So understanding that these are poisonous, these are dangerous, and we should not be consuming them. We don't deserve to be poisoned with these foods. We don't deserve bioengineered products. We deserve real natural food. Why in the world are we settling for bioengineered products when there is literal food that can be produced for us to eat, real food? But they don't want to do that, because if we do that, we'll start to heal. If we live the way that we should be, our body will be healing every single day. We'll be doing everything that we naturally are designed to do. Our body will be functioning the way that it should naturally function. Our brains will be stable. We'll physically be stable. Emotions will be regulated. Like, we wouldn't have all these people who are anxious, depressed, and walking around here on all these antidepressants and all these anxiety medications and everything else. We wouldn't have all these unstable people walking around the earth if we all were nutrition. We all had our nutrition. If we weren't so malnourished as a society, there would be way less people that are literally sitting here going crazy. Because that's the thing, when you are not supporting your body internally being nourished, your body is going crazy, so you're going to go crazy. Like, your body is literally panicking, so you're going to be panicking. There's no way for you to be stable if you're not supporting your body in with nutrition. Like, there's absolutely no way. The same thing about drinking your water. I don't care what you say. If you don't like water, I don't care. If you are not drinking water, your body cannot function, your organs cannot function, your brain cannot function. You are made up of so much water. Why do you think that you cannot consume water and your body should be okay? That's not possible. Your body needs water for, one, your brain to be stimulated and to work correctly, your organs to be stimulated and to work correctly, and for your blood and everything that's inside of you that should be moving as a flow, for it to actually be moving as a flow. That's the reason why when people don't drink water for forever and they finally do drink water, obviously, you're going to be sitting there feeling hydrated and all this other stuff, but you also go to the bathroom a lot, and they're sitting there complaining about going to the bathroom a lot. It's because you're literally backed up. Your body has been sitting here trying to figure out how to get these things moving and circulated, and juice and sodas are not going to do it. Juice and sodas are not going to do it at all. Those are things that have all these preservatives, all of this aspartame, all of this sugar, all of these things that do not need to be in your body, and it's already trying to do everything else. So the first thing it's going to do is dispel that. It's not going to move everything that it needs to move along like water does. Water can hold on to things, like, not hold on to things, but water can bind to things, make it softer for you to go to the bathroom, and vice versa. When you are, if you're constipated and things like that, drinking a whole bunch of water is not going to harm you. It's going to help you, because if something is going on inside of your body where you're constipated or you're having diarrhea or situations like that, I might have said that backwards, but I meant diarrhea, things like that, then you have to understand that there's an imbalance. Something is going on. It's not just sitting there like, oh, my stomach is upset, like situation, or thinking that you have, IBS or something like that. There's an imbalance going on. Your gut biome is off. Your body's regulation system, your intestinal system is off. Something is not right, because you should not be passing irregular bowel movements. You should be having regular bowel movements, and you should be having multiple bowel movements. If you eat multiple times a day, you need to be having multiple bowel movements a day. And if you are not, you're not drinking enough water. Like, that's fact for fact. If you are not having enough bowel movements, you're not drinking enough water. That's as simple as that. And if you're having too many bowel movements and it's runny, you're having an issue with your gut biome. You're having an issue with your intestinal system. And you need to figure out, what are you consuming? Are you drinking sodas? Are you eating a bunch of fast food? Are you eating a bunch of preservatives? Because these things right here will cause your gut biome to be off, your intestinal system to be off, to be struggling, to figure out what in the world is going on. Your kidneys are not filtering the way that they should, because they're working overtime trying to get the junk out of your bloodstream, out of your body, because you're harming yourself with your habits, your actions, and your ways. And so getting back to understanding what these preservatives are doing to us, like BHT and BHA, we have to understand that they are put in our food for a reason, not just for the preservatives, and not just for something for us to have and be able to put on our shelves, but for these companies to be able to keep their money, for them not to be losing money. Because if their products are going rancid the way that they should be on the shelf, like a natural produce section does, then they're not going to make much profit. They're going to have to produce more, or not produce more, but rather they're going to have to sit there and realize that they can't ship out thousands and thousands of bags of chips, that they have to produce and ship out as needed, because then their products are going bad. They're spending more money trying to produce more, and they're losing money because nobody's buying the bad rancid food. So that's why they add all these preservatives. That's the reason why that they sorry, I saw this because it's I saw this comment. That's the reason why that they have to have these preservatives so they don't lose money. And I see this comment that somebody says, why is BHT not banned in the US? And like, that's an amazing question, because Europe, I think Europe, and like, I don't know if China has, but I know Europe for sure, like a whole bunch of companies, a whole bunch of countries have banned BHT and BHA. And here we are in the US sitting here still consuming it regularly and just have a bioengineered product label on our foods, and not realizing that like these countries that actually care about their people not being poisoned, that understand what they're doing to their people, they put a ban on these things. And why are we allowed to consume these things that cause cancer? Because BHA and BHT have been linked to cancer. So why are we allowed to consume them still? Why are they not illegal? Why are they allowed to be in literally every single preservative, every single processed food? Why is it allowed to be in our foods? Because these are foods according to them. And so understanding that they have allowed it since the 1950s, and knowing that they allow a small amounts in our food, which obviously that's just how much they need, because it's a mold. So if you're already adding the mold to the food so it doesn't mold, then there you go, boom, you've already beat it to the punch. Not understanding that we should not be consuming mold, for one, and two, mold should not be added to our food. And even in small amounts, it's still adding up. Even in moderation, it still adds up. It eventually gets to a unmanageable space. And so if we're sitting here managing mold inside of our body, we're managing a toxic illness, we're managing toxic diseases in our body, and we're holding on to these things, and we need to release them. We need to stop holding on to them. And so it's been decades of them putting this in our food. It's been decades of them allowing this to be in our food. And they say that it does not pose a safety concern for us. They say that it's not a safety concern, but it's not a safety concern for them. That's what it is. It's not a concern for them because it doesn't make you immediately sick. As long as you don't get sick enough to be able to blame them, they don't have a concern about it. Now, if it got to the point where it was like E. coli or something like that, where it makes thousands of people sick, just like how the raw milk epidemic happened, I think it was early 90s. I think that's when it was, maybe the 1800s. And it happened in New York, and it started in New York, and thousands of millions of people, not millions, but like thousands of people got sick, and then tons of people started dying. Thousands of people, were unaliving. People were sick in the hospitals, and they didn't know how to manage it. Then it became an issue. Then it became a safety concern, and that's when they started doing pasteurized milk. And so realizing that it takes a certain amount of people to get sick, it takes a certain amount of people to get ill, a certain amount of people to be able to blame the system for something to change. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be a space where we realize that we care for the people, that we are people. First of all, we recognize it as people, not just dollar signs. And since we are a person, we deserve to be healthy. We deserve to not have to sit here and get poisoned every single day and hope and wait for something to happen and hope that nothing happens to us. We deserve to be treated as a high value person, a high value product, a high value person, not a product. I should say that, a high value person and not a product. When we're treated like a product, and we don't deserve that. That's not what we deserve. And so jumping down to another preservative that we don't even realize, because it's labeled as vitamin E on all of these products, and we use it as a vitamin E source, but it's man-made. It's a man-made vitamin E. I'm going to try to say this right, alpha tocopherol, I think it's how you say it. I'm not 1000%, but it's labeled in products as vitamin E. And understanding that it's in our things like vegetable oils and all of the oils that can go rancid. And it's to keep it from going rancid. It's to keep it from separating. And not using regular natural vitamin E sources, but rather extracting it from dangerous producing and inserting it into things that are supposed to be healthy for us, like a vegetable oil, quote unquote. If you go by what they say, you can consume them in moderation. But me knowing what I know, and I'm going to share this knowledge with you, vegetable oils are inflammatory. They cause toxins they hold on inside of your body, leading to toxin buildup. And this leads you to cancer. This leads you to disease. And so understanding that This fake vitamin E source that is a man-made vitamin E preservative that's added inside of your oil to keep it from going rancid is making you inflamed on the inside. Not the only thing that's making you inflamed from the oil, but it's adding up. So like, do you see the pattern that if you consume food with vegetable oil in it, let's say you go and you get your favorite bag of chips, it has vegetable oil in it, it has citric acid in it, and it has BHT in it. Now you have 3 things in there that are preservative, man-made, and cause inflammation and toxin buildup inside of your body. So how is this moderation? And that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because that's only the 3 products right there, and the list of ingredients goes 12 plus. So like, where's the moderation? Like, where is the moderation when it comes to the things that we're eating? And we have to understand what these food things are to put together. Why in the world am I so sick? Why in the world is this happening to me? And so moving on to the next one is a vitamin E source, and they label it as ascorbic acid. And that vitamin E source is not natural. It's man-made. It's a man-made vitamin C, and you find it in things like fruit juice. It's a preservative to keep the color of the juice, and obviously it still separates, but to keep it from turning brown, green, gray, whatever. Because when we make natural juice, because a lot of us have not ever made like fresh juice in our life, when you use natural juice, when you make natural apple juice, fruit, any kind of fruit juice, the fruits start to turn color when they're going bad, or when they're starting to turn themselves into like how apples turn themselves into like apple cider vinegar. When it starts to turn to cider, it turns different colors. And so what they have to do is add a preservative in there so it doesn't turn colors as it sits on the shelf. And if you know anything about a natural juice, when juice is fresh, you have to put it in the fridge. It has to stay cold, or it's not going to stay good. It's going to mold. It's not going to be. And it has to be in an airtight container too, because it's not going to be fresh for long. So why do you think these fruit juices can sit on the shelf? Why do you think they can sit on the shelf in any part of the grocery store, non-cold section, and then on top of that can stay there for months? Not in an airtight container, in a plastic container with a lid. Why do you think that? Because preservatives. They add these preservatives so they can keep their money, so they do not lose money. And you consume these things, and let's say you also got your favorite bag of chips on that, so you had your three preservatives already in there. You get your ascorbic acid juice, and so now you have 4 things added on. So now you have all of this stuff, and you eat it all in one day. Not saying you eat the whole bag of chips, but let's say you just decide you want to get you a little snack, a little treat today. Now you've consumed all these things, and where's the moderation once again? And so another one that is a big preservative that is added that people do not understand, meat has preservatives in them. There's no way for your meat to keep its color, to stay fresh, and to be able to make it to you by the time that it does and still be okay for you to consume without preservatives. Because meat is packaged, it's shipped, it's frozen, it's unfrozen, it's slung around, it's put places and then left there. It could be in a store or warehouse for quite a while, and you never know how long it's been in there. And so they have to put a preservative in it. And we're going to talk about this one, sodium citrate, because this one is found in like cooked meats and cooked curated meats, and it's to stop the fat from going rancid inside the meat. It's to keep it from going rancid. And so we have to understand that like they add all these preservatives on our food to keep us consuming and not losing money. They keep us built with toxins and inflammation so they don't lose money. And so we have to start realizing that these poisons are not serving us. We need to purge them from our life, and we need to stop listening to them when they tell us that these are okay in moderation. Because all we're doing is harming ourselves. And we talked about resetting last time, because that is the point that we need to start. Our focus point is deprogramming and reprogramming. We need to get out of the space of this is okay in moderation and realize, what do I need for myself? What do I need to start doing for myself? How do I support myself? Because what I'm doing currently right now, what I'm listening to right now is not supporting me or my body. And so it's time to reset. It's time to start over. It's time to unprogram my brain from what we've learned all of our life and to reprogram back into the basics of understanding that what is real food? How do we get real food in our life? What do we do for ourselves to get real food? And so our current mindset and our current habits are not supporting us in understanding how to support our body, what real food is, and why these companies do not care about us. Because let us keep doing the way that we do, our brain is already chemically imbalanced, so we're going to think that it's okay to do whatever we want to do, to eat these foods that we want to eat. And also understanding that, like, when somebody hands you a plate of vegetables, you look at it like this. And we're adults, like, we're all adults here sitting here, and when you bring up some vegetables to a bunch of adults, they look at you like, ew, why would I eat that? You're so imbalanced on the inside that a plate of vegetables and a plate of fruit looks crazy to you. Like, you sit there and you're like, I don't want to eat that. And not understanding that, like, you've literally taken your taste buds and reprogram them to believe that you need a preservative, to believe that you need these things that are called foods, that are so processed, so heavily preserved, full of flavoring agents, full of a bunch of junk, that you think something that's going to help you, something that is supporting your body, giving you all the nutrition, is gross. Your taste buds have literally been turned to believe that it's gross. They sit there and they think that, ew, I don't want to eat that. That's gross. And when you start to actually live the lifestyle and eat it, and you give yourself, more than just a month or two, actually start to live the lifestyle, get 6 months into it, get a year into it, and you don't even crave the things that you used to anymore. You don't even sit there and think about the processed foods that you used to eat anymore. Now, it might be like every now and then, you see it on the grocery store and be like, man, I really liked that. Like, I used to love to eat that. But you're never going to go back to where you were, because that's where I was. I thought that, like, this lifestyle that I live, a plant-based lifestyle, was not going to be permanent. Like, I never thought that it would be something that I would stick with and never go back. But I started to learn about what was going on in my food first. Like, I started to reprogram my mind and understand what I was doing to my body. And once I switched to see what my lifestyle would be like as being plant-based, I realized how malnourished I was, how imbalanced I was, and how my brain and my body was suffering. And I was doing it to myself. I was poisoning myself. And so I got out of the space of poisoning myself because I was listening to society and their standards and what they wanted me to do for myself, and started to get back to fasting, understanding how to cleanse, understanding what fruits and vegetables do to myself, and knowing that fruits and vegetables give me every single nutrient that I need on this earth. People love to argue about protein. They love to argue about iron. They love to argue about fats, not realizing that every single person that was back in the Bible times, in the old times, they were not eating meat every single day. They were not only healthy, but they were doing days of working hard out in the field, walking for miles, and doing all of this other stuff. And you think that you need meat for protein, you need meat for healthy fats, you need meat for you to get iron, when they were out there living perfectly fine without any meat for days, months, weeks. Like, make it make sense. You have literally been programmed to believe these false reality things, and you hold on to that because somebody with the title of government, somebody with a higher title than you, quote unquote, told you so. Somebody with a label of FDA and CDC told you so. When literal proof is in front of you, proof has been put in the pudding, literally from years and years and years, because it's scriptural. Like, it's literally in scripture that these people didn't have meat. People were fasting for months. People were fasting on mountaintops. People weren't eating meat, and they were perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with them. So I don't know where in the world society is getting this whole malnourished thing from, when only reason why we're so malnourished is because we eat a whole bunch of processed food instead of getting real food. Only reason why we're malnourished is because we believe we need meat and dairy every single day, and we're not eating any fruits and vegetables. That's the real malnourishment right there. Believing what society has told you and what we've held on to, and not reprogramming yourself. That's the deception. And so we have to realize we've been deceived. We're deceiving ourselves by holding on to it, and we need to release it. It is time to release this crap that we're believing in, because that's what it is, a bunch of crap. Like, it's truly ridiculous that we are believing in crap. That's all it is. And we're consuming crap. We're giving ourselves crap. We're giving ourselves poison, and we need to purge it from our life. And so this whole month, we're going to be talking about purging the poison. And this is leading up to our class. It's going to be in the middle of the month. I have not set an exact date yet, so I'm going to give you a date. But it's going to be, I think I'll give you the date next live probably. But it's going to be, the whole month is purging poison and understanding what is poison and why we need to purge it. Because truly, these companies are poisoning us. And since they're poisoning us and we're not understanding what to do, why we need to get rid of them, and how to help ourselves to make change, I'm going to show you how this month. We are purging poison from our life because it's right around the time that people, love to get summer ready and all this other stuff. This is the perfect time for you to purge poison from your life. This is the perfect time for you to get ready because fruit season is coming up. So you get rid of all of these man-made things, all these terrible foods, all this processed food, and start to get on the wave of you eating real food, fruits and vegetables, especially around fruit season. You'll be set. So you won't have to go through, the change at a weird time. This is the perfect time for you to get into the space of eating more fruits and vegetables, because this is the perfect time for fruits. Fruits are starting to bloom. You're going to start getting all your fresh fruits. You're going to start getting your watermelons with seeds, all your fruits with seeds, and that haven't been frozen over the winter time. And you can get into the space of understanding this is the perfect time for you to, which that went on to another topic, but this is the perfect time for you to try a plant-based diet for a little bit, to not consume meat, for you to switch your lifestyle, because you're understanding that meat is not a necessity for you to be nutrient efficient and not deficient, because you're malnourished right now. You're nutrient deficient right now, currently. You can get all of the nutrients that you need from fruits and vegetables. You can get all the health that you need from fruits and vegetables. So get out of the programming. And that's what we're going to be focusing on for this month, is to get out of the programming. And I want you to get prepared, because we're going through the what and the why all this month, and then when we're leading up to our masterclass of how we're going to start purging the poison, so we can get to the space of consuming these fruits and vegetables for this challenge that we're having, for us to be able to get through this summer and eat as much fruits and vegetables as we possibly can. Eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more real food than meat, because this is going to set you up to be stable and prepared for you to stop eating processed food, stop eating all this poisonous food, and to start purging it from your life. This is what we're doing for this month of March. We're purging poison from our life so that we can be set and ready for this summer, because we are going to be eating our fruits and our vegetables. And so we're leading up to our Purge the Poison masterclass. All of these lives are going to be free informational masterclass, and we're going to lead up to our amazing masterclass that is going to show you how transforming your lifestyle for vibrant living, it starts with you. It starts with your action. It starts with our it's going to be our 5 R's. But our focus for the masterclass is deprogramming and reprogramming is our focus for the masterclass, and we're going to do that with our 5 R's. I've given you one already, which is reset. That is the 1 R that we are going to be focusing on for this week, is reset. And we're going to go deeper into the 5 R's in that masterclass, showing you how to deprogram yourself and reprogram your mind, because getting to vibrant living starts with you transforming your life. Getting to energetic, vibrant living starts with you understanding you are consuming poison. You are literally poisoning yourself, and you need a strategy to get out. You need to get out. Literally, that's what we need. And our main goal is deprogramming and reprogramming. Mindset first, then focus on purging poisonous foods. Mindset first, get ourselves into that space, and then take action. So do not miss this series, because we're diving in, and I will get back to you next live with the date of when we're going to have the actual deprogramming, reprogramming masterclass to show you how we're going to do this for ourselves. But do not miss the what and why, because these are so essential. These are so key, and these are going to all be posted on my YouTube so that you can get access to these and you don't miss out. So if you do miss them, you won't just necessarily be without. But once that masterclass is over, this is going to transform into something bigger. So I want you to have this for yourself now while you can, and it's accessible to you while you can. So do not miss out on these. Go and start making little changes every single day. Take this challenge and mark it for yourself, that you are going to, by the end of March, start purging poison. You're going to start eating more fruits and vegetables, and we're going to be summer ready, because that's exactly our goal for ourselves. We're going to be summer ready, and we're going to start now. We're not going to wait. We're going to do this now. So I hope that you have a blessed day, an amazing day. I'm going to go out and I'm going to enjoy this weather while I can, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to energetically eat today, what I'm going to help myself be vibrant living with. And I hope that you choose one thing that helps you also be vibrant today with the food that you consume. Maybe it's also with your mindset. Maybe you just get into the space of thinking positively, to get your mindset into the space of, okay, I am going to start purging poison from my life. I'm not going to choose that BHT. I'm not going to choose that citric acid. Or I'm going to email the company and see what their citric acid is made out of. Make one change. Make one choice. I challenge you. I hope that you have a blessed day, and I hope that this has impacted you in a positive way.